Bakersmen Collective presents Light Up and Listen.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Light Up and Listen. I'm Lotta with the Bakersmen Collective, and this is
The Anthony Goes, the brand ambassador for the Bakersmen Collective.
And we are coming live from our studio, but also doing something new, a little virtual broadcasting here. And we have a guest on today's Light Up and Listen.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Hey.
How y'all doing?
We're doing well. But thank you for joining us to talk about G-Body music, which we have been bumping since April.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Like,
right?
hard. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's right.
Diligently? You've been bumping it diligently?
At least once a week, you know?
Because real people mess with real people.
Yeah.
There we go.
They get real money.
I know
Yes,
that's right.
we
Yeah,
gotta keep it
Yeah.
PG.
We're getting you back on camera. My question for you, right off the bat, with listening to the album, the first thing I heard was like the title, you know,
Mhm.
G-Body music, and I was like, I'm not a car person, you know, and I drive them, I get to and from, but like
Right.
that has significance to folks on the West Coast. So maybe you could give us a little bit of game about that.
So basically, you want me to explain why I named it G-Body Music? Or like
Yes, please.
the influence behind it?
Yes.
I mean, I've always been a car girl. I love cars. I generally tend to like cars more than people. You know what I'm saying? So cars just bring
Real.
me a certain peace. Like, I like old schools. I'm not really a huge fan of like the new school cars. Like I get into debates with some of the homies all the time where they're like, you know what I'm saying? They'll be talking about the cars that they want to get, and I'll be like, oh, I want a 67 Impala. And they'd be like, nigga, you can't drive that. Like, get something new. I'd be like, yeah, that's cool,
Economical.
but like, I'm just like, if I'm gonna be driving around, like, I need to drive in style
Oh,
because
okay. You got
like,
to make a
Yeah.
statement with your vehicle.
well, that, but also like, I would probably say a good 75% of my time, like just on regular days, is spent in a car. I'm always driving. I'm always on the go. I always, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just me. I'm always in a car. I'm always driving to somewhere, from somewhere, something. But that's just my life. I'm constantly moving. So I'm like, if that's where I spend majority of my time, then I want something, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna not only get me where I gotta get to, but I need to be fly by when getting there too, type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But as far as just the
for
name
sure.
G Body Music, that's my favorite. You know what I'm saying? Body type of car. So like the Monte Carlos, the Buicks, and you know what I'm saying, all that shit. It just, I don't know. I've just always been the box body style has always appealed to me, and it's just like some player shit, like, you know. So I don't know, just the
Yeah.
G body, and I'm obsessed with the letter G. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
I've always been obsessed with like G. Like my mom's name was Gwen, my auntie's name is Gina, my little cousin's name is Gianna. So like we, like, you know what I'm saying, kind of got like a G thing going on in our family, and like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my mom always had like jewelry with G. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just been accustomed to the G thing. So it kind of just all made
it
sense.
fit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you for sharing all that with us. I saw you in an interview stated that it's the perfect amount of time to get from one place to the other, the track length, and or you know what I mean, like the length of the album.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought,
Precisely.
yeah, it is. Because I'm always
Precisely.
I'm always driving around, and when
Right?
I play yours, it's like it's just the start and finish, like right on time. I'm sliding in. You know, I want to thank G.
Right.
Right, exactly. Exactly. It's like, I want to
So,
say it's exactly 29 minutes.
mm,
So, you know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Like at least in Seattle, in 29 minutes you're definitely going to get to where you got to get to. Now in out here in LA, that's like, you're going to have to run Jihadi music back like 2-3 times before you get there.
yeah, I've been to LA, and like my greeting was being stuck in an hour and a half of traffic. like after I landed from LAX. I learned a lot
Yep.
about flying into
And that's light.
California.
I've never ever been in traffic in California.
You a damn lie, D.
No, God, except for when me and you went to Queen Herbie's house. That's the only time I've ever experienced traffic, if that's what we call that. I swear to God, because I've always been at your house or in that area.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
even
I might.
the areas I live in have always been just of high density anyway. I be
It
living
takes
in high
forever to get
density
somewhere.
areas.
They greeted me with some flour and some liqueur
Mm.
for
Oh,
that
okay.
stay. So that hour and a half wasn't a bad ride at that point. But if not, I
It's
would have
not,
been
but it's just
tripping.
like when you realize how far you're going, it doesn't make
Right.
like real mathematical sense. Like to be going 8 miles and it takes an hour and a half. Like how is that even possible? But that's just regular daily life in LA. It's going 5 miles, but you're gonna be in traffic for 45 minutes.
Right.
Mm.
I mean, I feel like the move from Washington to LA though has benefited you. From what I've seen, I mean, like I think career wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Definitely.
the connections, the ease to move around with people of your caliber, and I think it takes leaving your hometown to get that done. You
Yep.
know, I to get to this studio space, I had to leave Florida,
Right.
and it right. But the connections that you can make once you do that, you find more people doing exactly what you like to do in the way that you do it, and I just encourage people to try it. So. Um,
Absolutely. I mean, it's really you just got to be where the stuff is, type shit. You know. Like you just gotta
Facts.
be, where the stuff is. So a lot of the stuff is out here. It's in your best interest, especially if you know got movement and moving and trying to further what you're doing. Then yeah, you kind of got to be around the machine. So it just makes it easier when you are linking with people or trying to do stuff. It's like instead of having to like plan this whole week out, like okay, I'm gonna come to LA and I'm gonna do this, that, and the other. Like it just made sense to just move out here because things were moving in a way that it would it just
Benefit
made
you.
sense to be in the mix.
Right. And home will always be home. That's the thing people like sometimes it's not safe depending on how you left your home, but for the most part,
Mhm.
your loved ones are there and so you can return when you need to, when you get
Exactly.
homesick or when you need to make plays there, I mean, you just expanding your network and
Hmm.
that's how business is done.
I love just visiting home nowadays. It's great because as soon as
Mm.
I be over it, I could just leave and then go back to where my stuff is. So
I'm out. So,
right,
what do you
literally.
think makes this album different than the previous one? Sorry to like kind of
No, you
circle us
good.
back, but yeah.
I would probably say this album is like kind of my first time I've done a sort of concept album. I would consider this album a concept album just because I keep the car theme. You know what I'm saying? It kind of has like like how would I put it? Like basically it's car themed and like I keep a lot of the subject matter and a lot of the songs and I have skits and stuff so it kind of all ties it together. Then the album cover actually has a G body on it. So yeah, this one is the first time I've actually like done a concept type album instead of like just making songs and what I'm saying, putting them together. Like I actually strategically was like, okay, well I have, what I'm saying, these songs, I need a song that sounds like this, or I need one that's like this. So it was a little bit more planning, but also at the same time, this album came together in like the shortest amount of time. Like I'm one of those people that'll really like sit on the music. Like I'm the type if I get a mix, I gotta listen to it at least for like a week straight because what I'm saying, the first couple days is I'm not gonna hear the same things I hear 3 days after I hear. You know what I'm saying? So I'm one of those people that really kind of be having to live with my music. But this one I
Right.
kind of took a different approach and was just um basically how it first came about was one of my good friends, a producer of mine named Elijah Gray. We were
Mm-hmm.
myself and Blimes were working on some original music for this movie. And it was before the session started, he was playing some beats and he played the Wait for Me beat and I was just like, "Ooh, that shit is fire." Like after the session, let's revisit that and mess around with it. So after the session, we did just that, and it kind of just the way like the lyrics came out so easy, and it was mainly because Elijah was like, write about going to meet a guy with some, or what did he say? It was basically he was just like, write about going to meet up with a guy and he's rolling the weed or something like that. And I was like, okay. And so we just started jotting shit down, and then we ended up recording it. And I think just like I think coming off the tail end of doing like original music, like I said, we were doing music for this movie. It's very conceptual. So like coming off of that job, I think it definitely was like inspired me to do the concept album, because it's like
Okay.
I'm already like writing conceptually anyway. Like they're giving me like what I'm saying? Like they tell you like kind of what they
Yeah.
want it to sound like, and it's kind of a puzzle to try to piece together what they actually want, because like you're writing for like a scene in the movie that technically hasn't even happened yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like being like, oh, we want something that's what I'm saying, ominous, but we want it to sound like this, but with this color. So it's just like basically like, okay, let me try to figure out what it is you're even asking for, type thing.
Right.
But yeah, no, coming
I
up
think
coming off of that, it was, I don't know, it just made it a different artistic experience. And we just after wait for me, we just kind of hit the ground running. I was just like, man, let's just do a project. And he was just like, okay. And that's how it came about. We started rapping, and that's how it happened.
Well, I have a
that's
question.
oh,
Can I
no, no,
say
no,
something?
no. Continue.
So, it seems like you have something to prove on this album. Do you
Hmm.
care to explain that?
Is that what it feels like, D?
That's what it sounds like to me. When I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, my girl,
There's some
she's coming.
confirmation.
What's she talking about? You care to explain what you mean when you came hard for this one?
Can you
Like
explain what you
what was
meant when you
yes,
said?
yes, all of the
Yes,
above.
yes. Incriminate yourself.
Um, no, you're absolutely right. I did have something to prove, because I don't know. I just feel like I have a resume behind me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
I have a discography. I've done the
Mm-hmm.
tours. I've done the features. I've done what I'm saying? Not to say I've done it all, but like a lot of the things I wanted to do in the game, like I was already able to accomplish. And then also just, you know, I don't know. Just I guess it's just like me being like, have y'all not seen? You know what I'm saying? What I've done. Have y'all not seen what I've
That's what
what
I got.
I've you know what I'm saying? Like what I built type thing. And it's just like I just felt like I wasn't getting I don't want to say not the respect, but just like I just wasn't getting the looks, or just like the consideration that I feel
Yeah.
like I should. But also I know that I felt like this album kind of helped me to kind of, I don't want to say flex isn't the right word, but I do have an issue with not like being vocal about the stuff that I do a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, whether it's like music stuff for me, or just other cool stuff I'll be doing, but I don't ever really talk about it. So it's like a lot of times it's a little self-inflicted, because it's like, well, people don't know until you tell them. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's
Absolutely.
like, you know, it's
Awesome.
it's up to you to kind of let niggas know, like, what I'm saying, what you be doing. But sometimes I just don't be feeling like wanting to flex, because it's like
Right.
when it's like sometimes you don't feel like flexing, because it's like, what is it gonna do? Because I know what I've done, and
Yeah.
it far exceeds what you've done. And I'm not
Mhm.
and I'm not here to have like a pissing contest or anything like that. But it's just like I'm saying that to say I have the experience. I know what I'm talking about. Like I'm not gonna sit up and have no discourse about nothing, about something that I've never been through or experienced. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like
Right.
I gained a lot of knowledge in this game, and I've done a lot of cool stuff. And it's like, I don't know. Now I'm just getting to the point where it's like, bro, I don't really know what else to prove for real. So let me just throw together this little concept album. You know what I'm saying? With all these You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody doing skits no more. Ain't nobody really doing no conceptual
And they were
nothing.
hilarious.
Yeah,
They were
the
so
skits
good.
are like the
So
funniest part about the album.
You know, skit. No one wants to
okay,
laugh no more.
and
Like no one wants
Clifford
to.
ran over my toe,
No one
doing
wants to
deep
have
top on
fun.
deck.
And I
Man,
kind of wanted to
the
bring
Yeah.
back the air of like having fun, but also like talking that shit, like just different subject matter. You know what I'm saying? And with that, like I also wanted to show kind of a different side of how do I put this? Like most people, if you ask the casual listener or the average person, like what female rap is to them, or like what if you put on a female artist, like what are you gonna hear type thing, and it's like you're probably gonna get the
mm,
same answer, whether it be like, oh, my pussy this, or like get money or get music from, or get money from nigga music, and you know what I'm saying, all this stuff. But I just wanted to give, I don't know, different subject matter, but also different subject matter from a about like stuff that's usually male centered. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be real. That G body music is mostly about pimping and hoeing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about cars, it's
oh,
about
it's so
riding, it's about weed, but it's, you know what I'm saying? We talking about pimping and hoeing, and you don't usually don't hear the perspective from a female side that's not like the hoe. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I'm a pimp either. I'm just saying just from like a different, I don't know, just a different perspective that I don't think is really heard like that. So, and
But needs to
that's
be talked about because that built Seattle. That's the thing about
facts.
this album that caught my ear. Like, there's several things that I just want to address in what you said because I've gotten into online battles when, like, over people asking who's the best rapper in Seattle or in Washington, and you're not on the list. I'm like, I listen to rap music from everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all got all the way fucked up if Gifted Gab is not on the list and not number one as the best lyricist out here that I've heard.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
come on.
and that's just on enjoying true music. But I heard you, and I told you this, off of
Mm-hmm.
a Chopped and Screwed album, and
Mm-hmm.
and was able to recognize the lyricism there to want to follow your other works of art. And I was like,
I
oh,
love
they're
that.
singing. Wait, what's happening here? And so when they, like you said, your work is there, then you see that you've done tours with Atmosphere, you all of this, like, it shouldn't even be a question who is the best rapper out here and who should be recognized. But then you drop this album that speaks so much to West Coast life that I don't think is popularized, is not
At all.
mainstream. Like, they sell P and Dub as like the outdoors and the fun, but when it
Right.
gets hot out here, when it gets hot out there, the cars come out,
On
Yeah,
the
God, we
guns come out,
the
outside,
pimps
the
and
outside.
the
girls come
hoes
out,
come out.
okay? The
Okay,
girls come out. And if you don't talk about that, then you're really not talking about Seattle. You're really not talking about Washington. And that's why I feel like your album was the perfect. It dropped right on 420, right in time when you started to see the girls out and working more.
outside.
Stop playing.
I'm
Yo,
literally pulling out of my parking spot, and she
there's so
gonna and
much
she gonna
talk about
stand right in front.
pimping.
Can you move? The fuck? You don't own this place, bitch.
What are your views?
Yeah, you back like
This is
man.
great
This.
blooper. This is great bloopers.
Yo, this is the best. Okay, so this, like,
Sorry.
as we were talking, this, no, you, this is, yes, Washington, for real. Like, at least the community I love to interact with.
You know,
So there's much talk about pimping, and what are your views on sex workers out here? Because I think, like, that shit, putting out an album like this, if you actually listen to it, it's like a lot of empowerment to it, and I just
it
want you to,
is.
like, make it plain and clear. Folks
It
ain't
is.
getting it, but, like, it built Washington.
On God, it did. Like that's why we got a mat. That's
You
why
can take
there's a
a
Madam
tour.
Lou's. That's why there's a Madam Lou's room, and you know what I'm saying, the Crocodile, which I was the one that broke in. I was the first person to ever perform there. So I told Crocodile, I was like, you need to put my face on the wall like you would if it was a white girl that did it. I need I need
Yeah,
I need niggas to know that I was the person to you know what I'm saying, open this
this all.
yeah, man. So put my shit on the wall. But But how do I feel about sex? I mean, shit. At the end of the day, like it's all work. You know what I'm saying? We're all hustling. Everybody just trying to survive at this point. Like shit's fucked up, and I'm not even saying that. You know what I'm saying? This is like shit just now started getting fucked up type shit. But like, you know, everybody got to make a living. You know what I'm saying? Prostitution is the oldest profession in the world. So it's like there ain't never been, it's never not been. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like
Okay.
I honestly feel like it was when Pushin' P came out.
Mm,
That song Pushin' P, the Gunna song. I feel
yeah.
like that's when it kind of sparked the interest of people to want to be, or like made them interested in the game. And not to say
Right.
like I feel like it's always been, because you know what I'm saying that shit is very much like underworld type thing. It's not really, it's not supposed to be mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Like
Nope.
No.
to really know about it, you have to be in it. But now it's
Hmm.
become a little bit more popular and mainstream, and you know, just like with anything, once it hits the mainstream, it gets watered down, and then like the essence of it gets lost. So you see, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? You'll see, you know what I'm saying? People like, oh, pimping, this and that, and it's like, no, you're that's just your girlfriend. Like you actually really love her. Like you you actually are like madly in love with this girl. That is not that ain't pimping. But like I don't know, it just made it watered down, and then just let everybody kind of make their own interpretation of what it is, and then they just go on with it. But I mean, like I came, not that I'm hella old, like, I came from a time, but like for real, like in the sense that like the way I see the game is a little bit skewed than maybe like the average person, just because I've only seen the positive sides of it. I've only
Hmm.
seen, you know what I'm saying? I've only known happy hookers. You know what I'm saying? I've only known, you know what I'm saying, females that are like really getting their money and like actually doing something with it. You know what I'm saying? Not just females that, you know, get a little bread and then get their body done and that's about it. Like no, it's really
Right.
supposed to like level you up, like have own some businesses, own some, you know what I'm saying, have an LLC, own some stuff, and when it's done right, that's what the game is supposed to be. But like these new dudes are like, they just leeches, like they're just takers. They have no type of incentive to like build a bitch up or like do, you know what I'm saying, like it's just kind of all it's just kind of all over the place, be leaving the
That
whole
that'll leave
stressed,
her
and it's
back.
like that's not how,
Man.
that ain't how it's supposed, that ain't how it's supposed to go. It's supposed to be like a real team, a team working thing, and when it's done right, it's really, you know what I'm saying, kind of a beautiful thing. And I don't know, I don't know, I say that to say I respect the game. um and it has a lot of positives in it when done the right way. And also it's just it's a culture behind it, you know what I'm saying? The cars also play into it and everything. Like it's really about getting the job done, and like just, you know what I'm saying, looking fly while you're doing it. And that's what I really like about it, because it's like it's dirty work, but you gotta keep it clean. You know what I'm saying? So that's, I feel like it's very much a metaphor in life. Like shit be fucked up, shit ain't pretty and cute. Like, you know what I'm saying, even this music game, the shit I gotta do, stuff y'all gotta do, like it's really some dirty dire stuff. But like we step outside, but we make it look good. Like we don't look like how our situation is. And that's kind of, you
Right.
know what I'm saying, what I respect about it.
Right, because then how do you leave that situation? If you can't see yourself past that, if you can't even start behaving as if you are past where you currently are, how can you grow to that level?
That part.
One last question for you, because I know you on the road, but like,
Oh,
so
you
you
good?
dropped it on 420. You talk
Mm-hmm.
about weed. I think that's what caught my ear, of course, being the head baker that I
For
am.
sure. As
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, hey, hey. So, when did you first start smoking the ganja, and like, why do you weave it into everything you talk about?
Why are you always fucking talking about it? Good
Hmm.
question. I started
Mm.
I started smoking at 15 and literally never stopped. Like the day I hit my first blunt, I never stopped. So it's been over like 15 years of a consistent smoking. But I don't know. Now I don't have the same like excuses or like theories as I used to. Like it's very much just, it's what I enjoy doing. Like I can't I can't really say at this juncture in my life that like, oh yeah, smoking helps calm me down or like, you know what I'm saying? Like I just do it. It's literally just a part of my life now. I just smoke all the time. I'm
It's your lifestyle.
constantly, you know what I'm saying? But I think really I'm just addicted to, I have, I got ADHD, like, you know what I'm saying, the most of us, and I really have like a fixation with having to do stuff with my hands, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always doing something with my hands, which is probably why I'm always driving type thing. Like, I don't know. I think it all plays back to that. But like I'm always rolling up. I'm always wanting to roll up. I'm always trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm always doing that. So I think it's if nothing else, I feel
It's
like
a
just
sensory
the
thing
act.
for you.
A what?
A sensory thing, like with your fingers.
Yeah, I think it's a sensory thing because I don't ever want to like not roll up. Like, you know, there's people that have like like, you know, you got the
Me
rolling
too.
machine or like, you know, vapes and stuff like that. But it's like genuinely the act of rolling, of breaking down, you know what I'm saying? Like breaking down the wrap or whatever, breaking down the weed, rolling it up, sealing it. Like it's
Yep.
that thing. Like that's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like a ritual. So I don't necessarily think I would ever, you know what I'm saying, go a different way. Like, you know what I'm saying, bongs and stuff. Like I have bongs
Yeah.
and pipes and all that, but they don't really like do it for me. Like that's not something I do every day.
No.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
weed, it's just
Yeah.
a part
I
of my
mean, that's the
lifestyle.
truth. I think you can incorporate cannabis in many different fashions, and you should, just to see how you can reduce the amount you inhale. And I think any medical practitioner would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm never going to quit smoking weed simply because rolling is part of my meditation. And so, like,
Mm-hmm.
I want
Yeah,
to smell the weed. I want to
Mm-hmm.
see. I want to go
Feel
through
it.
that whole
Right.
sensory experience. That's
exactly.
why you think we go on growth tours. All of that feeds into an understanding of what goes into this plant, and touching it is like the first step for me, you know.
Precisely. Same.
Yeah. So I thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna dive into the cannabis wormhole and give them a little bit of education on the upcoming or ongoing policies, but I don't think you need to
Okay.
stick around for that. You've blessed us with your presence long enough, unless you want to hear that stuff.
Well, it's been real. Shoot, I got a list. I got a laundry list of of things I got to do today. I just pulled up to
Monday.
the post office. It's the Mondays, man.
Well, I'm gonna call you later so we can
Damn
talk about
Mondays.
Jocelyn.
Oh,
Oh my
You hear me?
god. Yes, I heard
Yep,
you.
yep. I'm calling you later.
reality
Yep.
television. I
Oh God, look,
all
y'all
right.
need to do a
Alrighty.
segment on here. Y'all need to do a segment on here where y'all are reviewing some of these some of these Zeus Network shows on everything.
Man, because I'm
Hey,
telling you,
I know you
Gab,
can get into it.
because Gab will be right on here,
Okay.
and we'd already homies with Gab Trizzy.
Oh,
Look,
we might need to do that. We'll put that in the bag. We'll put that in a little
Oh
bag. Little
God, I'm
bag.
telling you, hey,
yeah.
let me know. I
Hey,
could be a contributor. I'll be a
listen,
contributor.
I'm gonna have to start watching the shows because I. But there was one on Tubi that I was interested in. Hoochie Daddies.
That's not on
Oh
there.
Oh, it's
my
not
But
on there.
but I
God.
seen that show.
I was,
Yeah,
I was like, I mean, that could be some drama.
they on there. Oh, they are on there clowning.
Okay. All right.
Man,
Well, have a
I
great
got through
day.
Alrighty.
the
Good day.
intro. I got through the intro song in like the first 8 seconds. So I was like, this is a little too ghetto.
Right, right. I saw the clip of that, and I was like, would it be the editing that captured my
It's
attention? You know.
yeah, and it's the, you know what I'm saying, they using straight iPhones. I'm like, man, this audio is horrendous. Hard to watch. But I respect the grind though.
Listen,
Alrighty,
y'all
Gab.
fun. We'll talk to you later.
All
Thank
right, y'all.
you.
Bye. What up, everybody? Now we're back with Light Up and Listen. I'm Lotta, D. Anthony. We had a wonderful conversation with Gifted Gab, and now we're diving into the cannabis wormhole. Thank you to the Cannabis Observer and FMS Global Solutions for, Global Strategies for providing us with the information we need to keep y'all up to date. With G-Body music capturing the energy of the summer, and really what goes on out here, the grind and the grime of it all.
Okay.
I'm just saying, but like for real,
The
gritty part of it. Energetically, I think the grittiest part about the cannabis industry right now is that you could be operating successfully and then legislation comes and kind of changes that, or policies or concern, a health hazard, and all of a sudden things grind to a halt and you lose business. And so when I kept like listening to it, it reminded me of the struggle of those individuals, those workers that have to get out there and keep it going. And to that end, some of the first people we talked about in early April, that policy, that DDE policy that came out, not policy, but bulletin, where they halted 5 different farms from being able to conduct business. We've been talking about it on our live weekly as it happened, but out in the Okanagan area, product samples came back to LCB with a higher than normal DDE, which is a derivative, or I'm losing the word at this moment in time. However, remnant of DDT, which was insecticide used back in the day, because this was farmland and it was halted due to the impact on live birds. We diminished them, and so it's decades ago, but the remnants, the half-life is still there, it's in the earth. And so these samples came back with higher than normal testing, and the Liquor and Cannabis Board notified them, pulled this products off the shelves, right? And they voluntarily offered things up, but at the same time they told them they can't keep doing business. Now this is April, so in the cannabis industry we are getting ready to plant for these outdoor farmers, because Okanagan is on the other side. All right. So you're telling them that they can't start their crops on time, which would impact sales not only currently, because we can't sell anything, but my sales in the future.
Yeah.
So if I don't have savings, and organizations such as Walden and a few other came out and like they said, hey, we want to help you, but work with us. So they tested 108 samples. According to the LCB, 61 came back, but I saw an AP article that said 59. And
so we just gonna say 60.
Yeah, right. Meet them in the middle. Meet them in the middle. But right now, we're coming here to tell you that as of July, they have done what is necessary and their holds have been lifted, and they can go back to business if they made it, right? Because realistically, if they didn't have a backup plan for what to do, that farm's in the red. If no one came to bail them out with money, they might no longer be a business. There has been some legislation changes to help them in the future. So let me just get the numbers right. I believe it's $200,000 in grants. Yeah, it's big money. You know what I'm saying? Big money.
Bank.
Money. Right. So Washington lawmakers in the spring directed $200,000 to help growers fix their soils, because soil remediation is possible, and then $5 million to study how marijuana plants absorb toxin, because more research is needed. I mean, there are still like apples and all types of things are growing over there, and you didn't see a public outcry about that. But the cannabis. I'm still wondering if y'all like us. Was pulled off. There is an interactive map that they published, and we will share a link in our bio that you can see what area it came from. They should not be on the shelves. If they caught what was concentrated, that might have been pulled or it was sold. But at this point in time, there's not enough study to determine how destructive it would be. And then at what quantity it gets inhaled, right? Because it's the legal limit is 0.1, but it was max 0.2, right? So it's not even that much parts per million. More research is needed here. The companies, out of the 5, I was only able to come up with 4. So Okanagan Gold, Bodie Mine, Kibble Junction, Walden Cannabis were the big ones out there that had things pulled. Again, another round of regulation a nightmare. Community Jordan Justice Jones, owner of Rooftop Hemp Shop. We've done some promo with them before. Please go and check that video out. But they called attention to the impact that the legislative passing of SB, which is Senate Bill 5367, had on the CBD businesses. And it took me some like poking and talking and knocking on doors and reading some documents that really hurt my head to figure out what happened. But it was this one minute definition change. So the words are detectable amounts of THC, right? So the new language to RCW 6950 states that the sale of any products containing detectable amounts of THC without a valid cannabis license is prohibited by state law and is subject to criminal sanctions. So what they used that change to do was pull products off the shelves that even though they may have been hemp-based or CBD-based, had a small percentage, the consumables. So like the CBD that you were buying in stores and grocery stores, all that is not legal to be sold in Washington if they have a percentage of THC. The ones that were exempt were cannabis health and beauty aid products, so and products approved by the FDA, hemp seed oil products that and the cannabis health and beauty aids themselves aren't they're basically, it's a definition for topicals. So nothing you can consume orally, right? So the vape shops that had CBD products that you could eat, and if any of those products themselves had THC in them, I mean, like the notice they sent out had pictures. They were yanking all of that, and that was also in their attempt to pull Delta 8 off of shelves. So like, because they want to get rid of the K2, the spice, like, so it was a all sweeping motion. But what that did, though, of course, was set up the individuals that have a legal CBD business, like here in Washington, their products, if they had detectable amounts, are gone as well off these shelves, right? So, and how do you remove compounds from a plant that naturally exists? If someone could explain that to me, I'd love it, because if we want to back up how dumb this argument is, the reason why there's a difference between cannabis and hemp legal definition is so that they could have a legal definition. And they set the level at 0.03 milligrams of THC. So anything above that is cannabis, which is regulated by, at this point in time, I-502, or the anything below that is hemp, and so that's federally legal. Now that means that's overseen by the Department of Agriculture. So now we have these clashing things that are based off of some bullshit and not science, because it's the same plant, baby.
Right.
It's the same plant, scientifically.
Control.
Yeah. So again, I really don't think y'all like us, because you let these business owners get set up. They branded, they got contracts, they got into shops, and now you have yanked that. So what do they have to do? Figure it out again. And now we're talking multiple times that you've done this, and it's countless in the last decade. And I wonder when you're going to get sick of crushing people's dreams and taking their money while you do it. You know? Finally, that got me hot. Woo! You know what it is? Let me just pause. I really need some water. Shout out to the Cannabis Alliance. Also, the largest member organization in the state of Washington representing the actual cannabis industry and lobbying for individuals like myself, and willing to teach individuals like myself how to do the same, because this is your actual right. You can advocate for your needs to be met by the constituents that take your tax dollars to pay their bills. So please do it, instead of just being like, why can't we have a weed lounge here? Because not enough people is cussing them out for this dumbass legislation. Because you know what? Who's getting it? New York's getting it. Why? Because they've got people who actually smoke weed overseeing the legislation in their state.
Arizona got one, because I've been there.
So it can be done. It can be done. Now, that I've had a water break. The last updates are rather quick. The social equity efforts are still underway. There has been some outcry of delays caused by Ponder, which is the individuals overseeing the diversity program, and questions for clarity to the from the community itself. Shout out to Carlondo and the wonderful conversation we were having about the Washington Black Cannabis Collective, and what they're trying to do to clear that up and really teach the community what we need to fight for, because I think there's a bit of disconnect on what you need to do to get it done. And it's easier if you have some mentors to guide you through it, right? The problem is the people that have been mentoring this industry for the last decade just won't learn from their mistakes. So, like, I'm over it. But the social equity program, it is like a trial and error, this first step that we have, and they're experiencing the brunt of it. But at the same time, the Liquor and Cannabis Board are taking the efforts to make sure the next wave, which rolls out in January of 2024, they already have a work group together, unlike the Social Equity Task Force that existed for the first one, that is providing feedback based off of the issues that they've experienced in this application process and trying to make that a little bit smoother. So I'm sorry to those that are still struggling through the process right now that you had to be the guinea pigs, but at least if when you get there, you got a license, you should be rather prepared to fight what is ongoing. Right? It's never going to be easy in cannabis. That is my word to you out there while we try to legalize it. It never has been. If you talk to some real OGs, they'll tell you about some of the craziest stories. Okay. Right. To make it happen. So and then to those coming, it's around the corner. So maybe start getting prepared now. Get that business license. Get the articles. Get everything together. Because January is right around the corner. We at the end of July.
Yeah.
And we have a new director at the Liquor and Cannabis Board. Will Luca, he started July 10th. Has given his first public speech. I'm still digging, I'm still digging to see much about him. But for now, let's give him the chance to encourage and add some compassion to how things are done. That is the one change I want to see at the Liquor and Cannabis Board. Act like you like what we do. Act like you care about the efforts it takes to make this plant be something that is consumable. Because right now it seems like you only care about keeping the system that brings the state money functioning rather than making it actually usable for the consumers and the individuals that want to work in it. Because trust me, I don't know one without 2 or 3 jobs trying to make ends meet. Okay? Add some compassion. And with that, closing words?
Stay baked.
That's right.